At Five Star Bank, community is at the heart of what we do. Every day we strive to have thoughtful solutions for our customers and help our communities prosper. Honest dialogue about the issues affecting the region is vitally important to that prosperity. We are proud to be part of the conversation and hope you'll join in.
Long-standing bakeries in a community become a special part of people's lives. Birthdays, anniversaries, and other special celebrations. They're part of the many little traditions that we treasure with friends and family. Freeport Bakery and its creations have been a part of our celebrations and is one of those special institutions that is uniquely Sacramento. Freeport Bakery co-owner Marlene Goetzeler joins us today to tell us her 27-year very sweet story. What does this milestone, 27 years, mean to you and your husband Walter?
Well, we're pretty happy that we were able to keep going and keep going strong. Being part of the community, being part of Sacramento. We didn't grow up here, so we moved here to buy the bakery.
Where are you guys from?
Walter's from Germany, from Bavaria, and I'm from Chicago originally.
And how did you guys meet?
We met in San Diego. I was running a bookstore, and Walter came in after a motorcycle trip around the United States looking for a map. And that particular day, I was looking for a German tutor, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, it's kismet. It's totally fate. And I said to a coworker, I have to find a German tutor. These tapes aren't working. And he walked in and said, I'm looking for a map. And I said, are you German? And he said, I am. And I said, will you tutor me? And he looked around a little bit and then he said, yeah, sure. But he wasn't quite sure what that meant.
Yeah.
We ended up hanging out and becoming friends, and we ended up falling in love.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so what brought you both to Sacramento?
A friend of ours moved to Sacramento and called us and said, there's a bakery that's for sale here. And we had always wanted to open a bakery. But San Diego, the real estate was very expensive. And we were broke. I was running a bookstore and he was working in a restaurant. So we came up and looked at it, and the owners said, oh, we would never go for that price. And so we said to the real estate agent, well, if they really want to sell, call us. And we went back home to San Diego, and a week later they called and said, all right, put it in writing, make a deal. So we bought the bakery August of 1987. It was very small. It was one side. The other side was a radio CB shop. And we had 7 employees, including Walter and I. And we only did cakes. There was a lovely woman who did beautiful cakes, and we were known for our cakes. So we started doing pastries and cookies and expanding, and in '91 knocked out the wall and became the bakery you know today.
And you have really expanded, and the things that you all create are renowned, and they are really a part of so many celebrations. Today, you were kind enough to bring a few things with you. Can you tell us what all of this is in front of us?
Sure. This is one of our specialty cakes. It's a fondant wrap, and it has a modern twist on some roses. And next to that is the jewel box cake. And that changes with every season. So on Halloween, we make it kind of a ghoul box, and Christmas it becomes a beautiful jewel box. So it changes. Then we have some cupcakes and cake pops. The cupcakes, actually, the ones with the sprinkles, are my grandmother's recipe. She taught Walter how to make those. Yeah, because every week she would bring a box full for us, and I kept saying to him, you have to make my grandma's cupcakes. So he started, and they're actually called Grandma's Cupcakes in the bakery. Then we have some cookies and pastries. Next to that is the apple pie. It's a deep dish.
That looks like a serious apple pie.
That's a good one, almost 5 pounds apples. We use a Boa Vista up in the foothills, and it's a double crust. That's a bestseller. And then we have the Torta Primavera, and that's only in the spring and summer. beautiful fruits, and it has triple sec with an almond cake.
Really?
That's a really nice one. Some more cookies, and it looks like we have the itty bitty birthday cake, and that was something we decided to do. People wanted small birthday cakes.
For those of us that are calorie conscious?
Yes, maybe. We started it out for children, and it ended up becoming such a big hit for people just going to their friend's house. So that was great. We do a pink bow or a blue bow. Looks like more cookies. I think the fleur-de-lis, lemon key lime pie, and we use a wonderful key lime for that. Then we have the salted caramel. That cake was just an instant hit. It's our fudge cake with layers of caramel, and then it's not a sea salt, it's actually a salt from, can't remember the name, but I will remember and come back to it. And then we also have some pastries. We have morning buns, chocolate brioche. So
wow.
Yeah, we do lots.
You know, I think about walking into the bakery and seeing all of this in front of me. What do you enjoy most about being behind the counter when customers come in?
I love seeing when people come in either the first time and we win them over and they fall in love with Freeport Bakery, or when I see my old employees coming in with their kids.
Really?
It's so fun. And they all went to McClatchy or City College, and they'll come in with their kids, and their parents used to come in. So now they're getting their kids' first birthday cake. And it's just, it makes us feel like we're part of something. And I really like that.
And I saw this picture of you and a bunch of your young staff, and they all look like, you know, they go to McClatchy or City or something like that. And a picture of your son. Now, he's in college today.
He's in college
He's
now.
in college today. Did he spend a lot of time in the bakery growing up?
He did. I don't know, you could say unfortunately or fortunately. It depends. The days that we put little pieces of dough for him to play with, he loved it. But we spent many holidays in the bakery, and when you have a family business, sometimes.
Now, do you guys live close by?
We live very close, very, very close. We, if we could, we would live in the bakery. Walter grew up in his parents' bakery upstairs, and if he could put a second story on, he probably would have done it.
Now, when you are trying to design or come up with a new idea for a cake or pastry or bread or something like that, where do you look to for inspiration?
Sometimes it comes from what customers are asking us. If they're looking for something with fruit and it's not a combination we've done before, we try to put that together and maybe tweak it a little bit. I can look anywhere now with social media. It's amazing. Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram, pictures are all out there. It's everywhere. So when you, and so you create these things, what's been a recent creation that really has captivated your customers? Probably the salted caramel. That one was a big hit. We just said, let's try it. And from day one, it took off. That was a good one. Sometimes when we do the shaped cakes, I don't have any examples here. This tiered cake, because we can tweak things with fondant now that you can't do with buttercream, you could really make some beautiful designs, and I think we're able to do that now with fondant. So.
And these things that, you know, it seems that there are fashions, there are perennial favorites, and then there are fashions. Has anything that you particularly loved and that Walter particularly loved that has kind of gone out of fashion that, you know, maybe when you started was very popular?
Interesting. A lot of mousses. You know, there used to be a raspberry cream mousse that we did, and that was our best-selling cake. And I think sometimes the mousses, I don't know if it's just too much cream, but they're just not as popular as they used to be. But we'll make them for ourselves sometimes.
And you know, one of the things that I've noticed is that you guys sometimes look like a nightclub, a daytime nightclub, because you have these like huge lines. And I mean, it's not just a small line, but I mean, this is like a line, like Studio 54 type thing. What's that all about?
On holidays, we take the chairs and the tables out of the bakery and put up station lines, kind of like Disneyland. And I stand at the door and I greet everybody, and people line up to get their products. And it's become kind of a tradition. People are seeing their neighbors, and I always make sure I ask, is it still okay that you have to stand in line? And they're pretty happy, our neighbors meet, and it's a great time to celebrate. There's not too many traditions left. So going to pick up your Thanksgiving pie at Freeport has become a tradition.
Well, it's so personal because, we all have our favorites, and bakeries are really, a long-time bakery is kind of an institution because you remember those milestone events, and we're creatures that like food, right? So
Exactly.
now, Sacramento has kind of fallen back in love with its roots, and there's this whole farm to fork movement.
Mm-hmm.
Does any of that in any way impact the work of your bakery in terms of that you're a participant in that movement at all?
I think we never weren't. I mean, we make sure that the apples come from Boa Vista. When we do pears, we pick from a friend's pear farm. We try as much as we can, and we always have, to get fruit and everything local. So Walter always laughs about that. It's a great thing, fork to farm or farm to fork. But
it's all right, I say that too sometimes.
yeah, it's hard to keep that straight. But if you work with food, that's kind of what you do.
Isn't it interesting though? You've been here doing this for 27 years, and there was a time when we didn't want anything to do with that heritage, and now it's all the rage.
Well, there is one thing I've noticed. When we first started, everything had to be imported from Europe. So if we used jam, it was imported from Europe. And now we try to source locally. But there was definitely a trend in the beginning when we started to go imported. And now local is the key word. So
is it a hard business?
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
How?
It's brutal. It's labor. It looks so glamorous and fun, and it is fun, and we have a great staff that we have fun with, but it's really hard work. Most people who do it, who think they want to do it, and they come from another career, they don't really last that long because they realize that their arm from mixing or from scooping or from decorating, it takes a toll on your body.
I bet.
Yeah.
Now, I've heard tell that your husband, Walter, is kind of like the MacGyver of the bakery, and he creates and fixes and jury rigs and all that kind of stuff. Tell us about what he does and what you do.
We definitely have different roles, and I've mentioned this before, so I'm not embarrassed to mention it, but the first 2 years we were together, we went to counseling to try to figure out who we were in this business and how we could support each other. And I think for a family business, you'd be crazy not to. So we really have distinct roles, and he works with the bakers, but he also is the MacGyver. He's constantly fixing things and creating things that will work, like bowl lifts that are automatic so people don't have to bend down. And I do most of the marketing and HR, and I work with people and do some training. I'm the business end. I have creative concepts, but absolutely no baking. I don't bake, I don't decorate.
Now you talk about you do the HR and the administration side.
Mm-hmm.
It's been said, you look at the pictures of your employees and some of the things that they're doing in the middle of work, and they all look so happy. And it's been noted that it's a pretty happy workplace. Is that just the nature of working in a bakery, or is that something special you guys are doing?
I think we have magic. We have magic. There's a few people who have been with us for over 20 years. They're our strongest supporters. We couldn't do it without them. And they help create that feeling. And it's not, everybody says their business is like a family. That's partially true. There's people that I don't know very well. We're up to 54 employees now in our small
In that little place?
In that little place. So there's a whole night shift that I know who they are, but I don't really know them. But the common line is they all have to be really decent people. because we don't want to work with people who are unpleasant. Or so as long as everybody has that good heart and good quality, and they're trained, obviously they have to know what they're doing, they tend to last. They stay for years.
Really?
And if it's not a good fit, they leave quickly, and it's good for both of us.
Mm-hmm. Now, in talking about the business, you do administration at your own bakery, but recently you were elected to become the president of the Retail Bakers
of America, the RBA. Mm-hmm.
Which is the National Association.
Yes.
And you're a bit of a turnaround artist, because at the time you came in, I guess things weren't going so well.
It was not going well. Originally, the RBA had tons and tons of money, and they had 26 full-time staff members. They owned a building in Washington, D.C., and little by little, the economy changed, and people changed, and the internet showed up. So, of course, you don't have to go to a convention. You can go online and get what you need. And so the conventions started dropping, and vendors stopped coming. So our source of revenue really went down. But I think there weren't enough people paying attention to that. And so money was just going out much quicker than it could. I showed up, we were close to bankruptcy. We were still doing conventions, and we made some really hard decisions that were unpopular. But we stopped doing the conventions. We paired up with other people already doing conventions, and it's a great fit. We started working more on education, and we're doing really well now. I mean, we've got money in the bank again, and we're doing road shows. And
one's coming to Sacramento. You're bringing one to Sacramento,
right?
Yeah,
I talked them into it.
When's this going to happen?
This is going to be in January of 2015.
And what exactly is a road show?
It's bakery tours in the morning, and then hands-on information, like maybe how to make this flour. And it's a professional person who does that. It's only for bakeries. It is open to the public, but the public really wouldn't be interested because it's more of a business running a bakery. And then there's a series of business sections, so you can pick from 5, 6 different classes to take.
Now, you've also leveraged into the internet, where it is that it's almost like you've created kind of like a group, a support group for bakeries.
Yeah, we have this really cool thing called Baker to Baker. And if you're a member, you can go on. And just in my own experience, the key lime pie, we had been making that for years. And one year it just would not set up. There was something wrong with it. And so I went online, and within 20 minutes, I had about 17 responses. Try this, try this, try this, from bakers all across the country. And so you'd have to be crazy to not want to be part of that.
So, Madam President, what are the trends? What are we going to see? How is from a customer level, what is it that we're going to see more of in the coming years?
You're probably going to see more and more decorated specialty cakes. And less standard cakes in a case. It's very rare that somebody calls us now and says, "Can I have a fruit basket with Happy Birthday, Bob?" They want a fruit basket with a man who's fishing in a canoe, and a little boy with freckles and blonde hair. It just keeps going. So having specialty cakes is definitely the trend.
I saw there's one cake that you all do that's like an owl with like a rocket on top of it or something like that. It's like it's like for good luck or something like that.
Oh, there's some beautiful owl cakes that we've done. Yeah, owls are really popular. So for baby showers and
really owls.
So there's either the flat owls with fondant, or they're shaped like an owl, and they stand up, so they're 3-dimensional. And those are probably the trend of where bakeries are going now.
So I'm curious, when you and Walter go out for an evening, where do you like to go?
Oh, we love going to Waterboy. We love going, we like Mother a lot, the new vegetarian restaurant. Even though we're not vegetarians, we love to go there. We like Ella's when we're having a special occasion. But sometimes we'll just go somewhere in the neighborhood and Just
One of the other, I don't know if this is a trend or not, but one of the things that I've noticed is that a number of restaurants seem to be partnering with local bakeries in order to provide their desserts as well. Are you guys a part of that at all?
we do some. We do some. We call that our wholesale department. We're very careful who we sell to, and because if they keep the product longer than they should, we don't want our name on it. And we just make sure that the company that we deal with is a reputable company that could have our product.
When you look back over the 27 years you've been doing this, is there any event or person coming in for something that you specially made for them that stands out to you? I mean, with all of the special celebrations and things like that you've done for people that you've been a part of, is there one that kind of comes to mind and says, wow, this is the reason that I got in this business?
We did a anniversary cake for someone, and the person always wore a charm bracelet. So her husband came in with the charm bracelet, and we remade the charms on it. And when she saw it, she burst out crying. And I thought, you know, that's why we do it. That's why we do it. It's just, people are so happy. It's a happy business. It's very rare that we do cakes for something sad. We do funeral cakes sometimes when people pass away, but it's pretty rare. So we have happy customers.
Why do you think it is that food is such an important part of our celebrations? What do you think? What do you think that connection is?
I think people have always connected with food on some level, and I think with bakeries, it's something sweet and something wonderful and celebratory, and I'm not sure. I think it's just a deep connection that people have with food.
It must be because, you know, we were in the green room earlier, and a person stopped in who said that her late mother absolutely loved your bakery, and one of her memories was that she would come in for your biscotti, and that her very favorite bread was bread that came from your bakery. But it's interesting how we all carry those things with us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I hear it a lot.
Now, so future plans have you ever thought about expanding or other locations or anything?
In 2007, I think, we were planning on expanding to Broadway. We really wanted to be part of a big renovation on Broadway. And it kind of fell apart, but then the economy tanked. So it was kind of like a little blessing in disguise that we didn't move. We ended up buying our building a couple years ago. So we're pretty much there.
You're pretty much entrenched.
Yeah, we're entrenched.
It's interesting though, because it's almost like that there's a little row of sort of culinary delight along Freeport in that area. There's you, and then there's Taylor's, and
Dad's.
Yeah, and Dad's and all that,
awesome.
and it's wonderful. There does seem to be, to come back to your earlier point about, you know, the difference between everything used to have to be European and now buying local is a big deal. It does seem that people really want to reconnect with things that came from someone who they might encounter or came from a place that they might see. What do you think drives that?
I think people want to know where they're getting their food from, where it's being sourced from. I think they want to walk into a place and know that that food was made there. It wasn't shipped in from somewhere and microwaved. I mean, it was made, it was produced. I just think people are connecting more to that, growing in their own gardens, especially with farmers markets now. And so I think it's a good trend. I think it's a great thing.
Now, what's your favorite cake? I want to know.
I love the Seville Meunier. I didn't bring that one. It's layers of poppy seed cake with chocolate and Grand Meunier, and it's really good. Really good.
Can you give us any tips for us home bakers?
Probably not.
That's Walter's department.
That's Walter's department. I could say,
Well, let's do icing. Let's do icing, because Your buttercream icing is wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
What does it take to make a really good, in our final moments, what does it take to make a really good buttercream?
Butter, lots of butter, and meringue. You make like a syrup, and you pour it in.
And then just one final question. You know, there's a movement in school nutrition where they're trying to get kids to eat healthier. And just very quickly, they want to ban all bake sales. Good idea, bad idea?
Bad idea. Bad idea.
All right. Congratulations on your 27 years, and we look forward to 27 more.
Thank you, Scott. Thanks for inviting me.
And that's our show. Thanks to our guest, and thanks to you for watching Studio Sacramento. I'm Scott Syfax. See you next time right here on KVIE.
At Five Star Bank, community is at the heart of what we do. Every day we strive to have thoughtful solutions for our customers and help our communities prosper. Honest dialogue about the issues affecting the region is vitally important to that prosperity. We are proud to be part of the conversation and hope you'll join in.
All episodes of Studio Sacramento, along with other KVIE programs, are available to watch online at kvie.org/video.